Welcome to Direct Connect presented by United. I'm Amanda Balionis in for John Swantek, and this is the only place where you can connect directly with your favorite PGA Tour players via Twitter or Facebook. Joining me this week is Brandt Snedeker, three-time winner on the PGA Tour. And Brandt, we were just talking about it. You had a tremendous week at the Open Championship, but from England to Canada, what's this jet lag like?
Feel a lot better today. You know, yesterday was a rough day, going on about 2 hours of sleep, and the time change, everything going on. It was a long day yesterday, but we'll get some rest last night and feel a lot better today.
And let's get right into it because you had a ton of fan questions. It was hard to narrow them down this week, but starting with our first question from Twitter, and it was Patrick Weimer, and he said, did you manage to sample any of the famous fish and chips in Lytham?
I did. The first day I got there, I made sure I had some fried fish and some chips, and they were as good as advertised. You know, it's pretty hard to mess it up, but they do a great job with it over there.
Oh, very good. And Joe Clark from Facebook asks, you play extremely fast. Any swing thoughts, or do you not have time for them?
I typically have one swing thought that I go with throughout the day, but you know, when I make up my mind, I try to get it over with as fast as possible so that not too many bad things creep in there. I can go ahead and get it done before I start thinking of all the negative stuff that can happen.
I know that pace of play has been a hot topic on tour. Is this something that you consciously do, or is this something that's kind of been learned for you?
You know, the biggest thing on tour I've had to learn is how to slow down. You know, tour obviously has had an issue this year, and in the last couple of years with pace of play, it's something that we need to address. But it's something for us fast players out there we have to deal with on a daily basis on how to slow down and make sure we play at the right pace, because otherwise you get frustrated and you end up waiting all day, and that's just not fun for anybody. So, you know, dealing with that's definitely something I've had to learn out here on tours, how to slow down and kind of take my time and make sure that I don't get too rushed or sit around and wait too much.
Right. And from Facebook again, from TAC3, they say, who will win the first game of the football season between Vandy and South Carolina, even though I already think I know your answer?
Well, I've got to say Vanderbilt. You know, we got high hopes after last year with our new coach, James Franklin, and it's a nationally televised game, first game of the year on Thursday night, so it'll be a big game for us. And unfortunately, I'm going to be up in the playoff event somewhere, so I won't be able to be down there and watching it, but I'll be watching on TV.
You know, you were a 2004 graduate of Vandy, and you were a communications major. You think we'll see you doing any play-by-play in the booth after maybe you retire?
I would love to do that. Unfortunately, I think I speak way too fast and I have too much of a southern accent to be doing too much of that. I'll leave it to the pros like you to handle that kind of stuff.
Brandt, this next question comes from Facebook, and it was something that everybody talked about all week. I think it touched a lot of people, and it says, Brandt, despite being on the world stage and having the unbelievable pressure of playing in a major, you showed that your thoughts were with the victims of this horrific event, obviously referring to the theater shooting in Aurora. Although you didn't win the Open, you won the hearts of us Coloradans. What was it that really made you, take that issue and put it in the forefront all week at the Open?
Well, it's, being over there, you don't get a lot of news, and luckily, through the internet, I was able to. Obviously, when the event happened in Colorado, it was such a devastating event. I mean, I've never heard anything as horrific as that. To have something happen like that with children involved and so many people who were just trying to have a good time in such a bad situation, it touched me. It touched everybody over there. Every American that was over there, we felt like we were out of the mix. We didn't really get a lot of news and updates on it. We had to get on the internet and try to figure it out. And something so small and so simple that I can do to let them know that I was thinking about them. My wife and I talked about it on the phone for probably about an hour one night when it happened, and how devastating it is. Because so many people lost their lives, lost loved ones, and how awful that would be to go through that. And something so small as a ribbon just to let them know I'm thinking about them, and that all Americans need to kind of unify and get behind them and try to solve this issue that's obviously keeps creeping up with these young kids doing horribly terrible things. Something so small.
Yeah, that definitely, I think that touched a lot of people when they saw what that black ribbon really represented. And coming from Twitter again, Brandt, who's the toughest player to play with besides Tiger Woods, and who's the most fun to play with?
That's a good one. Probably the toughest player to play with besides Tiger would probably be Phil. With Phil, you get so many fans and so much other stuff going on outside the ropes. My favorite player to play with on tour, that's a tough one. I've got a lot of good buddies out here. Lucas Glover comes to mind, Jonathan Bird, Johnson Wagner, some of those guys that I've grown up playing golf with my whole life. That would be a lot of fun out there when we're playing.
And our next question comes from Twitter from 10-5man, and he says, Brandt, I would like to ask you how you developed your effective putting stroke. Obviously, this year you're 5th in strokes gained putting and you're 9th with birdie average, so you're doing something right.
Yeah, it's something I've kind of always had a pop stroke. People try to kind of teach me a longer, smoother stroke, and I realized that my strength is my putting. That's how I putt, and I didn't try to change it throughout the course of the years. It kind of matches my swing, my tempo, my fast pace with everything I do pretty much, and I kind of embraced it and went with it, and it's kind of worked out well, and not try to change too much with it.
And Amanda Calton from Facebook asked Brandt, how do you like your chances for the Canadian Open this week?
I like them a lot. Coming off last week, I obviously did a lot of stuff really well through 36 holes. I had a struggle on the weekend a little bit, but put myself in position to win a major. Did a lot of things really, really well, and that's going to lead great into this week. It's going to be a tough golf course this week, and I love being up here in Canada. My caddy lives 30 minutes from the golf course. He's going to have a lot of support out here this week, and it's just a great. They have a bunch of great golf courses up here. This is a shining example of it at Hamilton Country Club. It's going to be a tough event, but it's going to be a lot of fun.
And Brandt, our final question comes in the form of a video submission. For all you fans out there, if you want to record your question, just record it on your smartphone and then email us at directconnectpgatour@gmail.com. Our final question comes from Ontario, Canada, and it comes from Scott Clute.
Hi Brandt, good luck this weekend. Just curious if you spent much time in Canada, and if so, what do you do when you come up here?
I have spent a little time up here, obviously with my caddy being from here and playing a few Canadian Opens. And my favorite thing being up here is the people. The people are so nice and so welcoming when you're up here. You can't help but have a great time. They're so gracious. I love having Americans up here, and they're very, very friendly. So you can't help but have a great time when you're up here.
Well, I know a lot of people are rooting for you this week, so good luck at the RBC Canadian Open, and thank you so much for joining us, Brandt.
Thanks a lot, Amanda. I appreciate it.
Direct Connect is brought to you by United, who is proud to be the official airline of the PGA Tour.